The world ends tomorrow and you may die, but until then, it's Homo Vulgaris!
Not gonna lie, I've never actually listened to this show, so I have no idea what happens on it.
You're my favorite cat person. Person doesn't know how bad we are.
Well, hold on now. I still have a good idea of that anyway. That's why I haven't listened to the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you saw, you're like, homo.
Exactly.
Problematic. It's like, no, it's vulgaris. Like, oh, gay people are vulgar. It's like, no, we are. It's complicated. We're not homophobic. We're not homophobic. We're just a bunch of TERFs.
Oh, good.
We're only trans-misogynist.
On the Discord server I'm on, we don't talk about TERFs enough. It's a topic of conversation that actually I think could be used to be covered a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. People need to talk more about TERFs. I don't hear it at all bandied about on
TERF the TERFs.
Alright, well, we shouldn't fucking talk about dumb in-jokes on a fucking Discord.
Well, I mean, this whole podcast is dumb joke on a Discord.
Right, so this is the podcast where we rank the discography of the Barenaked ladies, correct?
Yeah.
They're all zeros.
Well, you can't. It's a ranking though. So
this is like a leftist podcast.
Let's just say they're all exactly as terrible as one another.
First of all, if I had $1 million, last week, I'd spend zero of it on Barenaked Ladies albums. I'd be rich.
Uh-oh.
Second of all, we are a leftist post-cyberpunk anime t-shirt cult Third Impact gay space communism podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a lot of adjectives.
We keep adding more.
Yeah, we're hoping to get up to paragraph length pretty soon.
Pre-apocalyptic.
But just barely. Like,
just barely. The cusp of the apocalypse
is ongoing. Because I think we're in the midst of it, but it's like that boiling water problem where you can't perceive.
Well, you know, back in the 80s with the Reaganites, when the Christian right wing really started to worm itself into, and through the 90s with the militia movements, you had the whole end times thing. Then through the Bush years and the Obama years, it really puttered out. But now we're really coming back with Trump. We're coming back hardcore into a pre-apocalyptic kind of society, and I love to call this the new end times. That's what we are about tonight. The new end times. We are before. Trump is a harbinger. He's not the condition. He's merely a symptom of a sick, diseased society teetering on the edge of apocalypse from climate change, from cultural destruction, from the internet gone wild, from everybody getting zucked out so hard, from I'm so excited about 2020 when it's going to be Zuckerberg versus Kanye. The hyper-normalized absurdism. This is truly the world that Bob Dobbs predicted.
Bob Dobbs?
Bob Dobbs.
Is he related to Lou Dobbs?
Maybe. He may be the father of that bastard Lou Dobbs, in fact.
So should we, introduce ourselves or something?
Yes! Hi, I'm Dr. Shoggoth. This is Pinback. Hello, Pinback.
Hi.
How are you? And tonight's guest, we have Casey.
Hi, that's me.
And Hankman.
Hi, I'm at Hankman1996 on Twitter. It's great
to
be here on the Discourse Collective.
Yeah, oh fuck! Now you beat me to the Twitter plug, and now I'm gonna look like a schmuck.
I'm really excited for the Discourse Culture Collective episode on the end of Evangelion.
Oh,
are they doing that?
And they better.
I mean,
or I'm gonna unsubscribe.
If that man, not to be sectarian, but that's listening to some fucking nerds talk about how their Marxist interpretation of End of Evangelion sounds like one of the worst things I've ever heard of in my life.
Oh, you're gonna hate what I've got coming up then.
Well, I mean, Evangelion, but the culture stuff on that show doesn't do it for me.
Their Twin Peaks episode was excellent. Their Akira episode was dubious, but
you know
excellent.
What's really good about
analysis was
podcasts
quite
is just talk
far-fetched.
about other podcasts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well,
a good idea.
It's just a big circle jerk in the dirtbag left. You know, it's not like we're really reaching an audience outside of ourselves.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. My parents listen to the show.
Wow, well, I'm
My
sorry
parents
for
don't fucking
that.
listen to Discord Collective.
That reminds me of like when me and my roommate did this shitty college radio show that like his mom would listen to and thought was like the best thing, and it was such garbage because we like inherited it basically. Like our friend like had the slot and was doing music and stuff, and then like eventually stopped caring and stopped showing up, and so like they just still had the slot taken out, so we just started showing up and like fucking around for an hour. It sucks. Barely any college radio is actually on terrestrial radio anymore. Like it's
Barely any
all
radios on terrestrial radio anymore.
That's true.
I mean, everything is internet content just being sent somewhere else. Radio's on the internet, TV's on the internet,
Yeah,
internet's on the internet.
but like radio has like an advantage of basically like people have to just sift through the dial and they can randomly stumble upon it. Like no one's gonna accidentally find a college radio web stream.
That's true. That's actually something that kind of bums me out about the way everything's set up now, is we're all being funneled towards what a computer algorithm thinks we'll already like.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's-
no joy of discovering random things.
There is.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just different. That
It's
joy is
not.
still
They're
there.
not online. I mean, like that's I think a lot of why like record stores came back is because there's a certain amount of joy in just going into a store and like flipping through crates and not knowing what you're gonna find and getting something you didn't have any idea what you were gonna expect. Like,
Well, I just, I've always wanted to be like the customer who comes in high fidelity and just gets berated for his shitty taste in music.
that's like that. Like, yeah, it doesn't happen.
That's a weird. You're like a culture subby. You just want some. You just want some pop culture fat bearded dom to just tell you how much your taste.
That movie
sucks.
is extremely underrated. Role and performance from Jack Black. One of his best appearances in any movie, I think.
I've not seen it, and I kind of hate Jack Black because until The Hangover came out, I spent years being like, "You remind me of Black Jack. You remind me of Black Jack." I was like,
Black Jack?
Blackjack.
Black
He's a
Jack.
different person
Black Jack.
entirely.
Yeah.
Is
no,
that like
I think that's a
Black
minstrel
Jack
show
like
you've
some
seen.
kind of
the anime?
like the Swedish version of Santa Claus that's like in blackface or whatever?
But no, yeah, you remind me of Jack Black. You remind me of Jack Black. It's like okay, but now it's not Zach Galifianakis. It's you. You remind me of that guy from The Hangover.
I mean, they could be talking about the other guy from The Hangover. They could be talking about Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that must be it. I remember them of the Tiger.
But yeah, what you got to do is go into the record store and ask for Barenaked Ladies records, and
That's a good idea.
they'll berate you.
Yeah, I saw
I
one
don't
a
know.
while
No,
ago.
you
I
gotta
think
ask
it's
for their
X-Men.
greatest. You gotta ask for their greatest hits.
Yeah, the greatest
on
hits,
8-track.
exactly.
All both of
It's
them.
been 1 week since I wake up. Look up.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Said, "You know who would have won? It was Bernie."
Oh,
Oh,
you got that one.
A friend sent me, which I think is a screenshot from a Rate Your Music review. Hankman, see if you can guess this one. They said, this album feels very much a part of the bougie hashtag girl squad yuppie feminism tide that rose during the middle years of Obama's Hellenistic period, 2013 to 14, and was supposed to break with the arrival of the second Clinton presidency, but as we all know now, didn't. It's like if a mason jar full of tea put on a big Stevie Nicks hat and became an album.
Is the answer?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, I got
I
it.
was right.
Oh, I was gonna say, what is The Beekeeper by Tori Amos?
No, it's him. At first, I jokingly said it.
I saw
it's
him
shaking,
live.
It's shaking the habitual, obviously.
Haim sucks. They're like the
They're
worst.
not. I'm not a huge fan.
When I saw them, they just kept yelling, "Show us your ass!"
Did they
And that was
really?
not-
It's fucking.
That sounds like a
hate,
great show.
Like jokey ass, like stage banter, like that. That like isn't not jokes. Where it's just like, oh man, I don't know. I saw Sleigh Bells. At the zenith of Sleigh Bells being
I'm so sorry.
Band of the month. I mean, there are 1 or 2 albums they made were like fun. They were like stupid but fun. But it was at a music festival in like 2012 or something. And the singer, she just kept on yelling like, Chicago, like all the time, like as if it was like an arena rock show.
Yeah, Haim did
Like,
that too.
to diminishing returns of of applause every time she did it, because it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, she was doing it way too much, like in between every song. First of all, but, like,
actually,
also,
this is Aurora.
It's really cool. It's really cool how we've all seen musicians play live in front of our faces, but the discourse, the culture, the society we
the
live in.
discourse is Chicago.
I have seen Chicago live 3 times, once with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and once I took my dad to see them.
They were playing. Yeah, we had a starting in, I believe, 2015. We have a lame like New Year's thing now that Rama's been trying to push. That's called what's it called? Chicago Rising. And get this, we have like the ball, except it's a star and it goes up. It goes the opposite direction of the ball.
But
New York.
I get into that.
But like we already have such a lame complex about like being second to New York, which we're not even second now, we're third. So like,
no, don't sell yourself short. LA is a garbage.
I mean,
shit
LA
town
sucks,
that
but
can
I just
piss
mean in
itself
terms
to
of
death.
like in population and like how much stuff goes on, whatever. But anyway, so
We got more murder than anybody.
That's true.
That's something to be proud of.
We got going on in the Marvin Gaye kind of going on. But yeah, so like they had the first year they had fucking Chicago played at it, which is like, are you kidding me? Like that was the best they could do is the band Chicago.
If
Like,
it weren't for Chicago, we wouldn't have
So.
ska.
oh no. Well, first of all, yes, we would have, because it came not from America. It came from like Caribbean shit. But second of all,
Chicago made it
oh
okay
no,
for
what a
white
tragedy.
trumpets and pop music.
I mean, I don't know about Chicago, but I remember being really bitterly disappointed that Rush didn't play at the Vancouver Olympics.
No, you got Devo, which is
Dude,
better.
like in the
Fuck you.
opening ceremony, like, and now for a performance of 2112 in its entirety.
Yes,
Wait, did Devo
I would have
seriously
been
play
so
at the
stoked.
Olympics?
Yeah, Devo played the 21.
They had
Wow.
Underworld at the London Olympics in the opening ceremony, which is actually dope. I like have gone back and watched it drunk because the Industrial Revolution segment is like really good and woke, and the entire ceremony like places the worker first and is like cool in that way. And like has a very pro labor message, which is basically like like all of this shit is like made by the people on the backs of like the capitalists just like stand there and watch and go, yeah, that's something, and then they smoke cigars, and then like
But
the
the
people
Olympics
actually
are
the product of the labor is from the laborers, man, and it has cool music, and Danny Boyle did a real good job, folks. That's my 2 cents.
It would have been cooler if the Olympics represented any of those values.
Oh, and
Yeah, no, they don't.
They
But-
are the most incredible scam. Like, really, all high-level professional sports is like an incredible scam where they take a
But they
fuck
did
ton of
do-
public money.
They did have that great one with Bjork doing Oceania. That was good. Anyhow,
Did you
the
just
point
say
is that the
Bjork?
Bjork.
York. You just it's a Y sound.
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't tell if he was doing that on purpose to be cute.
Honestly, I was homeschooled and read word I've heard pronounced.
Okay, well, it's Bjork.
I thought Bjork
Like
was
fjord.
that
You know how like you say fjord, or do you say fjord?
I say
You say
Like the type
Fnord.
of cliffs.
yeah, I say Fnord.
Okay, well, all right.
I looked up Devo's set at the Olympics to see if
It was-
they played Mongoloid, and I
did
found
not.
out that they did not. But the Barenaked
Play a lot of
Ladies
songs from their
did
new
play
album.
just a few days before.
But we live in apocalyptic times with Trump coming in with everything. As see, I'm doing this hard segue because like this,
Yeah, that was like
I don't know.
a bike. That was a full bike.
We got 3.5 years more of this shit, by the way.
God, it's really incredible.
I
Like,
know. It
it's-
feels like 2 years worth of crap already.
oh man,
I mean-
The internet
Your
is
mic is fucking up, dude. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's the internet. It sounds like a bandwidth issue to me.
it's not a bandwidth issue. It's my XLR cable is shit.
Yeah, you're,
All
you're
right,
running an
fair enough.
XLR cable into a phone right now because your computer's dead, right?
Yeah, I don't
Into a
have
phone. Wow.
I have a phone and an iPad. Those are the only.
That would be a
computers
big
I am.
phone if you can fit an XLR cable into that thing.
I have a dongle.
That-
It's a big old.
There's
big,
a little
big
thing
motherfucker.
called the playing along, and all
Okay,
right.
you know what? I'm gonna give up on good audio quality and just switch to my fucking shitty Apple headphones. Hang on.
I've got a big dongle. I'm
My
gonna
big old dongle.
Little Jack.
Johnny Ive handed me his
Sounds
dongle.
like a job for the USB dongle goblin. It's a
There we
very
are.
good
So we live,
Valentine's Day themed episode of Teen Girl Squad.
I used to have a teen girl squad. I used to have a teen girl squad bumper sticker on my car.
That's
we
really
live-
It
something.
shows you support women.
Yeah, I do. I drink. I am the biggest. Nobody respects women more than Dr. Shoggoth. Nobody looks at a big honking pair of titties and says, "This is a person who's valuable with their mind and their intellect." Dr. Shoggoth. When I grab them by the pussy, it's because they are enthusiastically consenting. And let me tell you, when it comes to getting enthusiastic consents, there's no problem there.
It sounds like Jewish Donald Trump.
That sounded like Donald
Oh,
Trump.
Donald Trump's secretly a
commencing
Jew.
over the pussy grabbing.
Everybody knows Donald Trump's a fucking Jew.
By this
Why-
point, we all know, guys.
It's the veil has been ripped wide open. We can see the perfidest Trump in his. I don't know.
Okay, I was hoping you'd really get racist with that.
I'm drinking, and sometimes when I'm drinking, my anti-Zionism can go too far. Like,
Sometimes.
they're just white people. They're just white people with a fucking special identity club.
Oh no.
Edit this part out. Note to self.
So what were we supposed to be
I got
talking
kicked
about?
out of the Leftbook group because there was some like fucking girl who was going hard about like how she was like oppressed and shit. She was white, but she's talking about like how she deals with like anti-Semitism, microaggressions. Like you're white. She's like, no, I'm POC. It's like, no, you're white. You're just Jewish.
Okay, well, whatever we are going to talk about, fuck that. I want to talk about Leftbook, because
Oh yeah.
Leftbook is shit, but there's nothing else there for me.
Leftbook is pretty bad.
I got kicked out of a group for quote unquote wild ableism for calling somebody a fucking idiot.
Nice. Leftbook has like some of the most annoying tendencies of like Tumblr like shifted it, like moved to Facebook, a lot of it, and like just the general like postmodern leftism that has no like point except like everyone being extremely respectful to each
This-
other.
Performative AF.
Yeah. I mean, like I was subscribed to some pages for a little while. So, oh, this looks like it might be funny content, and then it's just like content warning, torn pants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm an extremely good group that I went in. Just it's upsetting because I saw a screenshot from someone else and I thought it was this group and it wasn't it. I saw it like on Twitter and I joined it just because I thought this might be the one. The group is called "Don't Hate on This Wholesome Content," and it's like I think a lot of people just troll it in terms of asking for content warnings because like they have a rule. It's like literally anyone that you ask for, they will add it to the predetermined list that just everyone must post with anything. But it doesn't even matter because pretty much just the content warnings just are a description of everything that's in it, even if it's like triangles.
Yeah, it's like tags for an image now.
You know what I hate is these Leftbook groups that have like a separate page. It's like an FAQ page where it's like Leftbook this page basics where you have to go there and they want you to do all their shit there before you can post there. It's like, Jesus Christ, I am here to shit post. I am not here to fucking take a class on how to post in your group.
What is the best though is that like people ask for content warnings for like countries and then they're like ensue like debates like tear out of the comments of people being like, yeah, okay, but like I'm from the Czech Republic and I feel like this is really offensive to me that you're just saying my entire country is a content warning. I'm in a group
called what is it? It's sounds like fragile masculinity, but okay. It's actually a really great group. They get a little wild with their content warnings, and it'll be like content warning. abuse, emotional manipulation, fragile masculinity. Like, this group is about this thing. You shouldn't content warning for the content of the group.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like a Facebook page dedicated to videos of car crashes, and they're always hiding the car crash comments. And I mean, I'm always worried about people reading.
When people see, when somebody sees a content warning, do they ever scroll faster? Do they see that CW dudes being a dick? Like, oh.
But
no, they look at
to throw out some examples of ones in this group, and the reason why I think that people ask for it, I mean, is like basically like that they're just trolling the group, is because the ones people ask for make no fucking sense. Hold on.
The following program contains adult situations. Viewer discretion is advised.
So they have in the people category, dads/moms/parents, sisters, brothers, uncle. This is a Shamley one added in quotes, daddy, unquote.
Here's my Pornhub link. Content warning,
so
daddy.
Furries, the Beatles,
the Beatles,
superheroes, Batman/Batman villains, Fallout Boy, Bob Ross. All those are you must put content warnings for those.
I want to see the person who's triggered by all those things. I want to see what that person looks like.
That's the thing. Like, I totally believe people are trolling, but the internet has also shown me that there's always someone who will be that serious about something or take it to that level.
They have a total acceptance rule too, that you're not allowed to question anybody's reasons for why they put one up. So, like, you get banned for that. So you gotta if people put it, just no questions asked. It goes on the list, no matter what it is. Unless it's like black people, then someone argues about it, which is really funny. But
I love watching white people argue with black people about content where it's like, I'm not bothered. It's like, blah, 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 blah. White people are
you are internalizing your own racism, and I'm going to liberate you from your oppression, whether you like it or not.
Black people, I mean people asking for ethnicities as a content warning.
Oh my God, really?
Like content warning Asians. Like, this has definitely happened on other Leftbook groups before. And then someone inevitably gets really pissed that they're like, hey, that's like not cool. Like, I'm sorry if you get PTSD flashbacks from the entire concept of my race, but like, you can't do
content warning, Japanese war atrocity denial.
But let's see, what are other
content warning
that we got in here?
Content warning,
some things that you must.
At a race, isn't that just racism?
Yeah.
No, like that's the thing. Like, there's a part of the left that's downright segregation.
It is actually horseshoe theory in that the wokeness poisoning sends you all the way back around to the point where no one is supposed to appropriate or interfere to the degree that no one should ever miscegenate or whatever.
It's people get so invested in their sense of identity that it becomes like they start applying the same logic that an ethno-nationalist will apply to race, wherein we need to keep this thing pure and original. And it's like everything in life bleeds together and interbreeds and mutates. Nothing is static, nothing is unchanging, nothing is original. Which isn't to say like there isn't like problematic cultural appropriation or whatever, but there's just the absurd extreme to which these online groups take it, because, well, I mean, it's like I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like the performativeness, the kind of social hierarchy that gets built around proving how dedicated you are to your given dogma. And then I think there's also like this idea, this really fucked up idea that you can build a perfect frictionless community where everyone is happy all the time by just having lots and lots and lots and lots of fucking rules.
Well, there's also this problem with ID, Paul, for me, is this atomization of identity where they keep getting subdivided further and further. None of those are actionable fucking classes that people can like collaborate with or create out. It's the thing is like that's why classes generally, I think, works better than the other smaller, less distinct identities, is because the smaller the group you have, the less connection you're going to have to other groups, the less actionable you're going to be. Like, class has
this is a class and no race podcast.
Let's Can we talk about the fact
you can
that
you can radicalize the other kins, but
Talk
that's
about the
not
fact
going to
that
get
what?
you many soldiers.
Joyanne Reed is right, dude. She's
Joyanne
right
Reed
about leftists
Everything.
online. Look at what we're talking about here.
Well, I mean, like,
how racism isn't real. We all just said that.
I mean, I
did.
didn't say it. Don't put words into my mouth.
No, you said
Put
that.
words into my mouth, but for 50 cents a word.
I mean, I don't care about race or gender or imperialism. I just don't want to work, and I want the government to give me free stuff.
I mean, unironically that, but also the other things.
Can I just list you guys some more good warnings here that are on this list?
Sure.
We got the header image for this group, which again is called "Don't Hate on This Wholesome Content," is a picture of Oprah, and it says "Your trigger is valid. Your trigger is valid."
That's good.
Which is
that sounds like a parody.
The group is more about people's triggers than it is about the content. But anyway,
I've been in an anarcho-communist group, so like half the posts were just shitting on anarcho-capitalists. Like, all right, that's cool. I mean, we all know they're stupid.
So in the category of places and ideas, we have communism, Serbia, Germany, philosophy, just in general philosophy, Arkansas, Catholicism, club/bar environment, bright white room, North Korea, Vienna/Austria, Croatia, religion, apocalypse/rapture/end of times, existentialism, bathrooms, Norway. Please.
That takes more time to read
for bathrooms, which is like something you have to like use like multiple times a day.
That's what gets me is the ones like I mean like I'm not against this thing in principle, and I'm not even against like having a generally like like everybody's wired differently. I know some people that are like terrified of things that I can't even understand why that would scare you, and like you should have respect for people, but it's just like I don't understand. You can have content warnings for things that you will see literally every day just walking around town.
Trigger warning, content warning, gas station bathroom.
I just get like a pair of underwear, and then right over the crotch, it just says "content warning." My dick.
Be honest, I would.
Content warning: shoes hanging from electric wires.
But the specificity that I love that like they make is like you better really read this list and like call these things out. But like the list doesn't matter because everyone just to be safe, just like basically writes everything they can think of that's in a video or something. But they have like objects, chains, worn down teddy bears. Stuffed animals, belts, cleaning supplies, paper, long grass, grain fields, basements. A basement is not an object, but okay. Toilets, top hats, and paint.
I can't help but feel like I can't help but feel like they're joking too. Like there's to be some element to that where
they're not joking, but people submitting them might be because nobody can question your submission. No one's allowed to say, "Is this a joke?" So if I wanted to just go on there and be like, my trigger is particle board, then like they would have to put it on the list.
Yeah, in Leftbook you can never say, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
And I mean, you've all read Exiting the Vampire's Castle, right?
Yeah.
No. For anyone listening who doesn't already know, it's an essay by Mark Fisher, and it deals with that, like the kind of like zealous.
I should say that this kind of group is actually like extremely harmless in the way that sorry to interrupt. The Vampire Castle thing, like before we get into that, is like actually matter. Whereas this is like an insular group of people who will never like do anything like political anyway. So it's like, oh, I don't know. But yeah,
that's true. Like, it's not hurting anybody. But I think it does represent that mindset, that combination of dogma and like, I mean, we've all heard the term social capital, right?
Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah, like your social clout as a kind of abstract form of currency. So if we have social capital,
that means I am a fucking millionaire.
Social capitalism, and I think social capitalism has to be destroyed.
Well, I mean, Twitter and social media, especially like Twitter and stuff, like it pits us against each other because everyone's trying to build a brand and shit. And so, like, you basically like the only way you can do that is by having like unique takes or jokes. I mean, most people can't do jokes, so it's like unique takes or whatever. And the only way to have like a more unique take is to go into increasingly esoteric and high standards things about how like actually that thing everybody loves is not woke, and I'll tell you why. And then like you have to just keep on like amping up the arms race so that you are the one who has like the other unique take on that nobody else has, because it's all competitive to like get followers or whatever.
Well,
I do not like your assessment. That's my shtick. But no, you're absolutely right. Like it does become this like constant game of one-upsmanship of wokeness plus cynicism plus irony plus like I have no idea what like half the people I know actually think about anything at all, because it's so obfuscated behind this weird layer of everybody's in a show now.
Like I don't even think it necessarily has to be born out of the desire to like be the most woke. I mean that's part of it, but like literally a lot of it is just like to have an opinion or a take that nobody else has. You have to dive into increasingly insane directions and interpretations of media because, well, to be fair, that's like, you know, or honest, to be unfair, that's like 70% of this shit is just think pieces and interpretations of the latest TV show that is like the hot shit right now.
Twin Peaks is actually about how David Lynch faked 9/11.
Fellas, don't drink that
government Kool-Aid.
You'd never guess. There was a
explosive
in the
Tower 7.
Sorry.
Twin Peaks has been mostly, it seems like fairly immune from this so far because David Lynch just makes wacky shit that's like an expression of his unconscious. So,
well, what I was doing in the latest season of Twin Peaks is I looked at everything that was happening around me, and I felt like Dougie Jones, and we all feel like Dougie Jones a lot of the time, where we're just fumbling through this world, and we're being directed by a system that just. And I learned this through transcendental meditation by way of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and anybody can do it. Anybody at all. It doesn't cost $1 to start. You can spend a hell of a lot of money doing it, but it doesn't cost $1 to start. And my old friends, Dano, Buster, Jacko, Bingo, and Joppo, the Woody Woodpeckers that I found on Sunset Boulevard told me, they said, David, America is full of evil that goes back further and deeper than any of us can know. And think about, David, think about the town of Evansville, Indiana. That area has been inhabited since 8000 BC. Do you understand the number of crimes and atrocities that are committed there? That over 10,000 years of human history, and every one of those ghosts lives on in the corpses walking around the town every day, going about their daily business, believing they're still alive, like everywhere else. And that's what I was trying to say when Dougie Jones drew a ladder on an insurance form.
That's good. That's excellent.
I voted for Ronald Reagan.
And the point of that was, I mean, I guess, you know,
Laura Dern is a dime.
People had written shit that basically was like David Lynch doesn't have enough black people in his shows, which is like a legit criticism.
Yeah,
otherwise, there's not much. Otherwise, there's not much I haven't seen so far in that way, because it's hard to like do some annoying fucking analysis on it because it's just so like deeply personal. But like The Handmaid's Tale is a great example of like there's like 1,000,001 pieces on why it's woke or not woke or why it's about this or that and blah blah blah.
I haven't seen that.
It's really beautifully filmed.
Have you guys seen that video where David Lynch is like on a panel or something and talking about when George Lucas invited him to direct Return of the Jedi and like how he showed him around his house and stuff?
And he showed me all these drawings, and he said, David, like, what I want you to do here...
this is a Wookiee. And I was like, oh, and I just had this terrible headache, and it just kept on getting worse all day.
It's really good.
It's like basically he's just like talking about it. It's just about him being like really turned off and disgusted the more he talks to George throughout the day, like partially through what sounds like George and also from the idea of having to make a Star Wars movie, because he's like, oh, well, my agent told me I had to go. Like, you better go do it even though I didn't want to. And I told him, George, you should do it. It's your movie. You can do it better. But he didn't want to. And so it was just like, and every time something happens in the story, he's like, and my head was just hurting even more.
Just wait.
I love that George Lucas saw Dune and then wanted him to do a Star Wars.
Dude, I would watch the shit out of a David Lynch Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, now that Twin Peaks is back, maybe they'll give him one of the spin-off movies. Like,
Disney is so into fan service and shit. I give it a 40% chance right now that at some point they're going to decide to reference Star Wars history by trying at least to hire David Lynch to do a Star Wars movie.
Phil Miller and Chris Lord quit the Han Solo movie. It's not too late.
Not an episode number Star Wars movie, but like a Star Wars story.
We need to get David Lynch to finish the fucking Han Solo movie, and it'll be like Mulholland Drive, where it'll be like the first half is just like the movie they had already made. And then the second half will abruptly shift into madness. That is the David Lynch half. And you'll have to try to piece the two parts together somehow, and how the unfinished plot threads of the first one may or may not have anything to do with the second half. It'd be great.
I'd watch that 5 times.
I'm imagining they're just, the characters are sitting in the cantina, and then the man from another place walks out, but he's just like wearing a Boba Fett hat or something.
They're sitting in the cantina, and then like Greedo, like, instead of shooting, he pulls out like a blue box and turns the key, and then and then things happen. I don't fucking know.
Greedo's huffing death sticks is like beep 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 bop doot doot, which is Rogue.
It would actually the David Lynch Han Solo movie would start with
CGI Leia is there doing the Laura Palmer bit.
The David Lynch Han Solo movie would start with people dancing the jitterbug in a surreal dream sequence to the Cantina band. And it would with the aliens.
No, it would be Badalamenti reimagining it as like more of a slow jazzy number.
Oh.
So we live in apocalyptic times.
But we've got movies.
The topic for tonight.
God damn it, I had a topic.
We're on the hot rails to hell, but there is in-flight entertainment.
I did not want this podcast to be about Star Wars.
Well, I mean, it was barely. It was Star Wars adjacent. It wasn't really about Star Wars.
Well, speaking of Star Wars and spaceships, you went to go meet the Saucermen the other day.
Yeah, they didn't show up again for the 20th time in a row. And if this happens 5 more times, I'm going to start to get worried that Bob lied to us.
I don't know the backstory of this, but I guess you're looking for aliens.
I paid money for this.
I'm sorry.
The Bob Dobbs says 1998 to July 5th, the sauce was going to come. And for years, a subgenius has been gathering out in the woods to take way too much acid while making way too many horrifying sounds and having bad trips in insane situations that lead to burning of effigies and deicide, and then they don't show up again.
I barely understand any of what that means, but I would like to say, to link it to Trump, doesn't it really suck? The biggest thing that we missed out on from not getting the Hillary Clinton presidency is that we're never going to find out about Area 51 now.
No, the Blink-182 guy can't save us now.
Okay, but John Podesta is super into UFOs. He has this whole thing. And he had literally got her
and he
promise,
fucks kids at pizza restaurants.
If Hillary wins, we will release all of the Area 51 stuff. We'll declassify it, whatever it is, the crash.
UFO. A guy who's accused of being involved in an Illuminati sex conspiracy, having links to Area 51 UFO.
He doesn't have any links. He doesn't have any links himself. That's why he wanted to. Why he was doing the job was so that he could get access to them sweet
It's
documents.
not great optics.
I've seen the documents.
Supposed to be Jesse
I've read the white papers.
It was supposed to be Jesse Ventura, then it just ended up being Arnold. So I was like, the documents. But yeah, because he's just a big nerd. He's just a big UFO nerd.
An array of satellites to communicate with them. All those symbols were actually were based on things found in the Majestic 12 documents,
which were faked by the government to distract UFO guys into looking for UFOs instead of looking at what they are actually doing.
Which was building drones to bomb weddings. Because we can't have them Arabs having a happy family life.
Well, you see,
there was a terrorist 70 feet away from them.
Oh boy.
I think the justification of those is that basically is like, we know there are terrorists in the wedding party, which is like probably not false, but it's like, well, this is the only time we're going to get them all out in the open. So like,
the caterer is a terrorist. The caterer is in like Al Qaeda.
Well, these guys are like probably
must be stopped.
I mean, it probably was the caterer. It probably wasn't anybody in the wedding. It was probably the fucking caterer, and they killed all those people.
Well, the thing this is not a defense of the wedding drone bombings, but basically it's just saying that like, yeah, probably 5 out of the 70 people that they got actually were terrorists, but like it doesn't, because terrorists have weddings too, or they know people that have weddings, but like, yeah, that doesn't really justify.
No, it doesn't. It's sadder. I mean, it's the most tragic version of it's the people got married. If it's like a caterer, then that's just, I mean, it's depressing anyway. I don't know, getting murdered because your caterer was a terrorist, that's really sad.
I'm going to make a rom-com in the vein of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and it's going to be called Terrorists Get Married Too. And
no, it's my big fat Yemeni wedding, and it's just like a normal movie right up till the end, and then surprise drone strike kills everybody. Roll credits like that. What was that Robert Pattinson movie where it's just like a normal romantic drama, then he dies in 9/11 at the end for no reason?
I have not heard of this. That sounds great. That rules. That sounds so funny.
Yeah, it's just like a normal ass romantic drama or something, and then like the last shot pans out and he's standing in the World Trade Towers.
And the plane is hurtling towards him.
Ever since Robert Pattinson did that Cronenberg movie Cosmopolis, I suspected he had some artistic leanings. I didn't realize it was straight up Dadaist.
I love this idea though. It's like, oh no, Dad, a drone is coming. Just use Windex. It fixes everything. Shoot Windex at the drone.
That's like the climax of the movie. They hijack an old fire truck full of Windex and spray it up into the air.
Exactly.
I like your.
And then they're like, "Oh, we lost their position. There's too much Windex clouding the atmosphere."
I like your idea, but I like it a little better if it's like they're regular people, but they're like wacky buddy sidekick characters. Always talking about these like conspiracy theories, and he's the caterer, and then at the end they all get murdered because of the ancillary character.
The guy who's there's like the one cousin who's like
they're total innocents. It's funnier when innocents are killed.
It's funnier because it's truer when innocents.
Yeah, no, I mean.
But see, then like, yeah, the one family will like speak Arabic, and then the other one will speak like, I don't know, like, do the Houthis speak like a different language than Arabic?
No, well, you can use different fonts.
They'll speak a different language, and then there'll be that gag, like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where like they teach the guy to say something in Greek, but then it's like, oh, he really said like "fuck me in the ass," ha, we got him, and then except it'll be like, you know, saying that I actually don't want to fuck virgins in the afterlife or something, and then everyone will laugh. And that'll be the joke.
Are you saying "fuck me in the ass" anytime you speak in Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Language.
Haven't you read? You know what they were up to back in the day.
Yeah,
right?
They were all gay. So like that was like all you needed to know. That was like all of the.
Gay is a nice way of putting it.
Well, yeah.
They were all monsignors, all a big bunch of Catholic priests.
What I always wonder is like movies that get sequels like 10 years later that nobody asked for, like not like, you know, I can't remember, you know, like the fucking Avatar movies that like no one will want to see.
Starship Troopers 2?
But no, I'm thinking My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, which came out like last year.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
it?
like,
I didn't know that existed.
Why? Like, who's the audience for that? Oh man, that one like sleeper hit rom-com from like 2001. You guys,
like, I mean, does anyone remember that movie? Like, I feel like that's sub Napoleon Dynamite in terms of like forgotten indie hits.
I'm looking now. And actually, it made a decent on a budget of 18 million. It made 88.9 million box office. So
how do you spend $18 million making that?
I don't know.
Does that include marketing?
No, it almost never includes marketing.
Well, I mean,
no, that's the black
right?
budget of the film industry. That's the Area 51 of film industry finance is the marketing. That's where all the money disappears. Hollywood accounting is literally black magic. It is evil Kabbalistic fucking numerology.
I'm not sure it's real.
It's not, but it is. It's a paradox. It's a paradox machine that they just use to keep this weird thing alive.
I mean, the whole motion picture business is just like dark magic on principle. I mean, look at what they do. They take pictures and bring them to life.
Yeah. I didn't mean to imply anything about the film industry by mentioning Kabbalah. I'd just like to note.
Well, no one was thinking when you said that. I guess so good, nice, good self-incrimination there. But
isn't that like a celebrity trend religion now? Is getting into Kabbalah?
I'm just saying. I wonder what the Kabbalistic meaning of 6 million is.
Ooh.
Oh.
Note to self: edit the shit that out.
Yeah. You might need to
that was a good joke, but it is not for public consumption.
I
just got back from a camp where everybody is Groucho Marx cosplaying and doing the hardest insult comic shit ever. Like, I have to get back in the real world where I get my teeth kicked in for talking like that.
You should just join the Anthony Cumia network so you can say shit like that all the time.
I don't know who that is, so I'm going to edit it out because it'll make me feel stupid for being ignorant.
All right. So, like 50% of this podcast is going to be
more like Anthony Cumia.
Ooh. Wacky Hollywood accounting aside, though, the general rule is that you multiply the budget by 2 because theaters take half.
Honestly, like, there's no fucking reason for movies to be this goddamn expensive. Like, nobody needs to spend $300 million to make a lot of movies are too long just because they're just filling it with stupid shit. But I'm not in principle against like a 3-hour movie. But
no, it's good.
Well, like if movies are going to be this packed with like CG and stuff, honestly, they should be like more expensive. But the people who do all the animating get like underpaid like crazy. So
yeah, but you don't. That is true. But you don't need to pack this much shit into the movie. Like it's
what the people want.
They don't.
Nobody give the people what they want.
Dude.
Nobody wants this.
I want 20,000 more
torturing us.
Movies. I want every single comic book storyline to be adapted into a feature-length film.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
I can't wait to see the less savory works of Alan Moore turned into films. What was that comic he did about like Lovecraftian fishmen vaping?
Oh.
No, not that. God, okay. Yeah, let's go there. I can't wait to see Lost Girls the movie.
Oh, that's
we're gonna have to change
series,
a few laws. Oh no, it'll be an HBO series.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing another Watchmen. Speaking of HBO series, is apparently with Damon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those
Damon
guys.
Damon Lindelof. I'll go to bat for Damon Lindelof any fucking day, you guys.
Yeah,
he
Casey
wrote Prometheus, which I really love.
I'm a big Lost fan.
Prometheus is basically Legend of the Overfiend, the live-action film.
I've never seen Prometheus, though, so I don't know. I can't.
It basically, the climax is that God gets Cthulhu fucked in the mouth.
That's fine.
Death.
I mean, I don't care. The one thing I remember though very well, I think he wrote for like Variety or some shit, and like they commissioned him to like, hey, write a review of the Breaking Bad finale, and he basically immediately goes like, sorry, I can't do this. I'm just gonna use this column to like do a very angry bit about why everyone is such a dick to me after Lost ended. It's like he doesn't review it at all. He except like it was really good. I loved it, but like I know when I write this, everyone will just go, oh, why the fuck should we trust you to say anything about anything? Because the Lost finale was terrible. I'm like, he's such a fucking neurotic dude. Like, he's like really like takes shit very personally and gets really upset about it. And like a lot of the negative reaction to it drives him fucking insane because so much of it was driven by people who like didn't watch the show or didn't even fucking get it and just go like, oh, it was bad. But like, there's things to complain about with Lost to me. Like, there are bad parts or issues with it, especially with like pacing and length, but the finale is like not it. The finale is really, really good in my opinion.
I saw 3 episodes of Lost, and one was the finale, and I actually liked the finale a lot without knowing much about the show. I was like, that's a pretty good fucking episode of TV. That's some kind of experimental, daring shit. It's a nice, I mean, all the mythology shit aside, it's just a nice delivery on like resolving the characters and like, because that's really what the show is about. It's a character drama first and foremost. I like that it was not literal. It was a little symbolic. It was like, that's a good thing. I hadn't seen anything like that on American television at the time, so it was neat.
I mean, I'll give him credit for trying something weird and ambitious. Like, I appreciate that, but I mean, I was like a teenager at the time, and I remember getting bored around season 3, the start of season 4.
Season 3 is the worst season overall. It's really badly paced, and it's like the worst thing about Lost is that it was on network TV. There's a reason why like now like Westworld, which has a bunch of Lost people working on it, is only like 10 episodes and it's still too long. But like they were in the middle of negotiating with network in that season of being like, hey, can we end our shit series at like 5 seasons? And they're like, no, we want you to do it forever. And then they like compromised on 6.
That's just the whole problem with network TV. And it's the problem with art as a commodity is you always have to produce it to sell it to the widest possible audience for as long as possible instead of making it for its own sake.
I think your network has caught on a bit though, is that like people are kind of sick of that and want like they'll get more bang for their buck out of just making a larger number of shows that have a finite story. Although it depends on the type of show. Like shit like Scandal can go forever. Like, because nobody cares if like Scandal has a neat story. It's like a soap opera that's supposed to go forever.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind that for some types of shows, but it is like I mean, you look at a lot of shows, X-Files, Twin Peaks, like any serial drama you like was probably fucked up by the fact they had to pump out like 16 or 24 episodes in a year and fill a bunch of shit. Or like anime and manga have the same problem. Like the way a lot of manga, whatever. I'm white. I'm from Western Canada. I'm going to pronounce it wrong.
Don't say it right.
But like the way manga is produced is like these guys are like making it up as they go along and pumping shit out.
Crazy deadlines.
Yeah, as fast as possible. And then you wonder why you end up with just like plots that don't go anywhere.
And they also die.
Yeah, that too.
Well, it's a nice way to put a bow on things.
I mean, it didn't
to have the author die.
But in summary,
that's what Kurt Vonnegut did. That's how he taught. That's what Bowie did. He's like, all right, here's my last album. The album where I die.
I will, in summary, I will always respect Damon Lindelof's ambition, even if he fucks up here and there with the actual mechanics of it. Like, I think like spectacular failures are always better than like being boringly consistent and just like executing decently well over and over again.
I agree. I always say I'll always take an ambitious failure over a boring success.
And actually, I'm 100% on board with that. I've become so bored of competent mediocre movies at this point. Like just like all the Marvel movies and shit. I have no interest.
That's like what most of these $300 million movies are like movies that are never like god awful, but it was like, well, that was enjoyable enough. But they're so fucking long.
So I mean, I think we've been going for probably closing in on an hour here. Anyone have any last thoughts? Anything they want to bring up?
I wanted to talk about how the world is ending. That's way more interesting than, isn't it weird how Facebook sucks?
But I mean, that's part of how the world is ending. The Wired is bringing us all together in good ways and terrible ways.
All these people who are
around this one man, this one wicked goblin of the internet.
All these people who are getting so paranoid about Mark Zuckerberg getting anywhere in 2020 are, I think, have their head up their ass. There's no way.
I don't think he can win. He has no.
I think he can win. I don't know if he'll even run. Let's see if he pulls. Let's see if he pulls above 3% in the primary poll.
I actually love it if he lost, just because it'd be like such a like you controlled everything, you lost, you big wiener. Like I'd love it if he just cucked himself, but like I'd love it if he turned into internet. Jeb is internet Jeb. I mean, I don't know what Zuck can be. I want to see what Zuck's gonna be. It's gonna do something.
The notion of the dude who owns Facebook running for president is terrifying, and the way that like Facebook has a massive amount of influence over people's news diets and content and shit in general, and that's like the guy fucking running for president. And like I don't know how law applies to that to the extent that he's allowed to use Facebook for himself.
Well, I mean, I think we've shown with Trump that laws don't apply. If you just go, I'm the president, not break the laws.
A lot of lawyers.
Yeah. When the president does it, it's not illegal.
It's true.
No, he's gonna do something, and it's gonna be weird, and it's bad, but I'm excited to fucking see let's do this shit, man.
There's another good.
Let's do this.
I was just watching a rerun of a Futurama episode from 2002. Speaking of the Nixon thing, and there was a gag where there's 2 Washington monuments, and then the second one is labeled the Clinton monument, and I was like, "Ooh boy, that's a 2002 joke." If there ever was one.
Remember that time the president got a blowjob?
And everybody liked the Clintons, and it was like, oh, everyone will just like look upon them favorably in the distance.
Clinton monument has just got to be like even more explicitly phallic than any of the other ones.
Basically, everybody accepts that the president pissed on some Russian hookers or got them to piss on each other or something. And then you look back, and then the pundits, the right-wing pundits, it's like, oh, Bill Clinton's blowjob.
It's been 1 week since I pissed on you.
Cock you ate my cock and said I'm angry.
We have gone so far. And just see Ben Shapiro's like, wow, Bill Clinton got a blowjob. Like, Donald Trump pisses on women.
You're so fucking drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope that.
Let me tell you about how much acid.
How much acid did you do this week?
West Coast acid. Way better than the shit I get. A lot. Peace had problems. Sorry. We live in apocalyptic times with the introduction of the Donald Trump presidency. We're seeing an age where absurdity becomes reality and becomes just, it's great. I love it.
Nothing has actually changed. Nothing has actually changed. It's always been this absurd. We are only now becoming aware of it.
More like Homo Vulgaris.
What?
Whoa.
No.
More like
You can't do that.
More like.
What do you mean you can't do that?
That's bad.
More like.
I mean, okay. It's bad
like
as a different
JK.
argument from like you can't do that. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It triggered me. Okay.
Homo Vulgaris triggered you.
I've said it before. Blanket content warning for the whole podcast. We're not even going to try and sort out the problematic stuff from the really problematic stuff.
There's a lot of shit about Jews.
More like at JK Rowling. More like at JK _Rowling tweeted, Homo was the real Voldemort Garrett.
On a chat earlier today, I mentioned the neighborhood that Rahm Emanuel lives in Chicago, which is called Ravenswood, and so I was like, shut the fuck up. That's not real. That's a Hogwarts house.
God. Rahm Emanuel should like go take a swim in Lake Michigan and just not come back.
He did that once, and that's how he lost the finger.
The Raven, whatever the fuck that shit is, where he's just got his profile picture with that like thing. Yeah,
it's kind of a popular misconception that Rahm Emanuel lost his finger in the meat slicer at Arby's. It's because the real story's better, and that's why I'm correcting the record.
Correct the record.
Because he got a cut on his finger from the meat slicer in Arby's, and then went swimming in Lake Michigan, which is dangerous, and then it got infected, and then they had to amputate it because our lake is gross.
Oh, I thought he was stimulating his own
material.
I thought he was stimulating his own prostate and just lost it up there.
No, it's because actually you don't know. Rahm Emanuel has a flanged thumb, and the thing about anal insertion is you always want it to be flanged.
You want that flange.
So are we gonna end this or?
Yeah.
There's no end to our suffering.
No, we okay. Well,
I'm worried in 3 years I'm gonna be totally pro-Trump because I just think he's a great poster.
I mean, he's a great poster the way Georgeson
poster.
was a great poster.
I mean, now he's
like,
tweeting. I was when I was the next day. There was no cell phone reception there for like a week. I didn't know what's happening in the world. I come back, the president's tweeting wrestling memes. It's like,
we live in apocalyptic times.
Donald Trump's coming into the presidency. We see a change of the paradigm.
Okay, I'm just gonna hang up so that this ends.
Me
because
too.
if I don't hang up, it'll never end.
Goodbye.
All right, thanks for coming on. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
I'm never gonna post this episode.